With your CIGTV News update, I'm Donna Bush. Thanks for joining us. On Saturday, 16 Royal Cayman Islands Police Service officers left for deployment to the British Virgin Islands. The group is providing law enforcement and humanitarian support to the islands, which were heavily impacted by Hurricane Irma. Before they left, Acting Police Commissioner Anthony Ennis said they are in need of our help. Many of us remember Hurricane Ivan and the help that our sister territories provided to us during that difficult time. It is our duty and honor to reciprocate and do whatever we can to improve their situation. The deployment was coordinated by the Governor's Office, the RCIPS Senior Command Team, and the Crisis Team in London, following an urgent request from the Governor of the BVI on Friday for policing support. Now, the RCIPS contingent left Saturday afternoon on board a specially chartered Cayman Airways flight for Barbados, where they will join UK military and government personnel. Also being deployed to the BVI, the RCIPS helicopter was sent to British territory, the Turks and Caicos Islands, to offer support there. Well, the Department of Environment's Conservation Council is inviting the public to give input on what new areas should be protected by law. There are a number of areas which have already been nominated, and the public can give feedback on those by October 3rd. But this Friday, September 15th, is a deadline for the public to propose new areas. As the DOE's John Bothwell explains, the idea of protected areas is to ensure that sites similar to national parks in other countries are preserved for future generations.
So protected areas is something that we've talked about a long time here in Cayman. People might remember when we dedicated the Barkers National Park several years ago. Now that we have the National Conservation Law in full effect, we actually have the ability to protect these areas on land like we do with our marine parks in the sea. And so this is an opportunity for some very long-term planning for Cayman to say, these are the areas that we're going to set aside for nature conservation, nature tourism, for public enjoyment, that kind of thing. So anything that any park you've gone to overseas, a national park in America, protected areas in the Europe, this is what we're looking to have here on a Cayman scale. Areas can be protected for lots of different reasons. Primarily is for conservation purposes, for biodiversity. Also, if there are any particular species that need to be there. We have certain species in the Cayman Islands that are incredibly rare. The size of your living room kind of thing is where they're found naturally. But most of our animals and plants, thankfully, are a bit more spread out than that, although anything on an island is probably under threat just from sheer size. So we're looking particularly for areas that are natural, but also areas that people can enjoy. Again, Barkers National Park is a good example of this. It is big enough that we can have public areas set aside for the birds and the bird watchers, areas for picnicking, that kind of thing. We're looking for those sort of larger multi-use areas. Obviously, that starts from the individual nominations of the parcels of land that people know. We know that people know our islands. We're looking for those really beautiful natural spots that you want to see protected in perpetuity.
And Mr. Bothwell tells us what comes after the nomination period has closed on Friday.
The nominations are reviewed, given a technical review by the Department of Environment. Can we find it on a map? What do we know about the land? That kind of thing. What's on the maps? And then it gets reviewed by the National Conservation Council, who make the decision sort of ordering the land and saying, well, this looks like a really good nomination, and let's check out this one first. We then talk to the landowners. Nothing is done without the landowner saying yes. At any time in the process, the landowner, because all of our land basically is in private ownership, we know that, can say no, they don't want to sell their land, they don't want to rent their land, whatever, and the process stops. After that, if the landowner has said, yeah, we might think about this, then everything will come back out again for public consideration before sort of any money is spent. This is public money. This is land for the public. These are national parks, for want of a better phrase. The nation needs to be involved. The nation will be involved in it.
You can go online to doe.ky and search for protected areas to find nomination or feedback forms, or pages rather. You can also email doe@gov.ky for links or simply to get more information. Well, the Human Rights Commission joined the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization in observing last Friday, September 8th, as International Literacy Day. This year's theme was Literacy in a Digital World, and students from East End Primary to Lighthouse School had special guests reading books to them as part of the day. A visit to the Lighthouse School was organized by civil servant Lauren Knight, who explains more.
And I felt it was important that we got out to one of the local schools to read to the children. Essentially just to impart to them how important it is to read, to encourage them to read, and to help them to enhance their literacy skills.
Acting Education Minister and Councillor Barbara Connolly and others visited East End Primary to read to students there last Thursday as part of International Literacy Day. Students from the entire school participated in the event. Mrs. Connolly shared her favorite series, Nancy Drew, and she encouraged the students to read daily, while encouraging parents to designate a specific time each day to read with their kids, as it is a most essential life skill, she explained. Well, finally, that's it for today's news update. If you missed our news update, you can go online to the Cayman Islands Government Facebook page or the CIG Television YouTube channel. I'm Donna Bush with your CIGTV News Update. Thanks for joining us, and I'm wishing you a wonderful and safe night. Bye-bye.